first time, and then what did you think about meeting that one?
Chose VCU because it was right there in Richmond, right at home. And my family would have been able to see me play every game, and it wouldn't have been a hassle to drive for them. It was pretty close, so that was big. And then, Coach Smart had a big impact on me. Coach Smart's a great person, great coach, and he was a lot of watching. He was a lot of fun to watch coach, and you could tell that they enjoyed playing for him. But like I said, I'll reinforce this. That was my plan. It wasn't God's plan, and God had a different plan for him, and that's how I ended up here. And this is 3.5 years, going on 4 years that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
You guys, how aware are you of what other teams in the league have going on in terms of making your expectation level of what's possible for a team? Do you say, Duke's got these big freshman recruits coming in, or is it all internal, like what you're seeing on the practice court from you guys?
I think it's mostly internal. I think at this point, for a handful of years in college basketball, you can project as much as you want. You can think this team has these guys, this team has those guys, but at the end of the day, usually what you can always kind of lean back on is that teams will be good. Teams will play the style of basketball that they usually play unless they have a complete overhaul. But it's always, you're always going to get good teams in the ACC. So you can try to think, oh, this team will be down a little bit, this team will be up a little bit, but at the end, teams are going to be good and you got to compete. So I think it's mostly internal. As long as we do what we know we can do, we defend well, we rebound well, we play at our tempo, we make shots. I think that will go, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we do focus on in terms of how far we take it.
You essentially know you have to play at your best to compete at the highest levels you want to be at with the competition. Exactly right.
Exactly. So if we don't perform, no matter what the other teams are doing, if we don't perform well, we won't. If we do perform well, then we'll always have a chance.
I had a talk with 7th at Media Day about social media and the negatives and all that stuff. Is it tough to adjust to kind of the ups and downs of a high-level athlete and just all the stuff that you guys face? Is it more than you expected?
Coming in, it definitely was. And I knew I was just like Sev when I first got here. I think every player is. Every player wants to search their name and see what people are saying. And honestly, when I first got here, I wasn't ready for some of the stuff that I saw. People can be cool, and Seb put it great. He said it great, and you just got to try your best to block it out, and have your circle that you can hear constructive criticism from, but they'll also uplift you with it. And I think that's the difference. Is the people online, whatever they're saying, they're not being constructive at all. It's all destructive, whether it be to your mind or to your heart. They don't care, and that's where you can try to block that out and go back to your circle. And it's an adjustment that you have to make because social media is so big now. As soon as you get off a game, you're going on social media, and you just gotta kind of train yourself to not do it.
Was there anything that sticks with you from what people were saying back there?
No, it wasn't one specific thing. It was a collection of. People think they're ruthless, and they don't really care about. They don't really think about, oh, this person might be reading this, or this person might see this, and it might mess with their head. They don't really think about that. They'll just say it and send it out with no thought at all.
Cam, where are you at now? This is your second year at UNC. You transferred. How are you entering this season in terms of making that decision to come to Carolina, and what do you think about kind of finishing out your career?
I feel great about it. I've talked about this a lot before, but just it's an unconventional way to end up in a Tar Heel uniform, and I'm okay with that. And I understand. I came in as a grad transfer when there's not many transfers in Carolina's history. but you know, I couldn't be happier. I feel much better health-wise. You know, I feel much better comfort-wise. You know, I feel like I got a better understanding of everything that goes on in Chapel Hill. So, you know, I'm excited about it. I feel like it's a little bit of a burden off my shoulders, and you know, I'm just ready to get going now.
What can we expect differently from your game with the injury? I know you've talked about the injury, but game-wise, what can you do differently, better this season?
I feel like I can do more. I can do more with the ball in my hands, defensively, rebounding. You know, I'm not, you know, completely out of the fire yet in terms of, you know, injury. You know, I still feel like every day I'm building. So I'm still figuring out what I'm going to add more this year also myself. So, you know, in practice, I go out there and I feel better, you know, on a daily basis. Hip feels a lot better. You know, knee's not an issue anymore. And so I can just kind of focus on, you know, what I'm going to attack, what I'm going to try to improve on, how am I going to try to improve defensively. You know, that's something that I couldn't really do as much in the past. So I feel like, you know, each day I'm trying to find a different spot where I can improve and kind of show a little bit more.
Last year we talked with you a lot about integrating yourself into the lineup after you came back from the injury, and on top of also being a graduate transfer. So different now since you've gone through all that. You don't need to be integrated. You've been around the process for everything. How much clearer is your mind now as opposed to at any point last year? And how much does it help you just sort of absorb everything that you need to now?
It's way clearer. It's way clearer. I mean, anytime you step back into a team that you've never played a game in that uniform with, number 5 in the country, you know, feeling good, and everybody kind of has their set kind of role. You know, you're kind of trying to figure out where you slide in. This year, I feel like I kind of know a lot more where I stand. I feel like I understand a lot more about what coach wants, and I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel I'm more sure of myself. You know, whether it be cutting, ball in my hands, defensively, rebounding. I just feel a lot more sure about everything, more comfortable.
Coach said he hasn't had to go wacko on anybody in practice. Does that mean him going wacko? And would you disagree that maybe he has in fact gone wacko on anybody?
I don't think he's not. I think he hasn't gone completely wacko, but we've definitely had some moments where on the edge, like Kenny just said, we're on the edge. You know, yesterday, there's a couple moments of on the edge, and we're about to be on that line for a while running. So, you know, it's good though. I think, you know, sometimes we need that extra boost. You know, you can't get comfortable, you can't kind of fall into a rut. You know, you need to kind of surprise us with that energy and with that intensity. And you know, he does it because he wants us to be at our best. He does it because he wants the team to be at our best. And, you know, when you put that into focus, then it makes sense.
What sets him off? Is there stuff that you know?
Just either making him repeat himself or just not doing what he asked you to do. You know, it's pretty simple. We run, rebound, don't turn the ball over, and whatever. He'll have other specific little things. But if you do that, if you don't do those things multiple times in a row, then it'll be like a ticking time bomb at that point. You never know when he might go off, but you know it's coming.
You see the gritted teeth.
Yeah, you see his gritted teeth, and he'll start pacing a little bit. When you know that, you know it's time to get going.
You have an impression of him?
I did the last two. It's your turn.
No, I did it before you.
We didn't see any of it though.
Yeah.
No, but
You got it.
I went. You went. I went.
I vote Cam.
All right. So what he does is he grits his teeth and he starts talking like this. He gets talking like this. You don't want to be the reason why he's talking like this. And he'll say, "You gotta run." Then he gets upset. He doesn't like to repeat himself, as Kenny said. So anytime you get into that level, you know you're kind of in a little bit of trouble. But when he starts gritting his teeth and yelling, "Run!" and you better start running. You better start running.
Y'all talked about it briefly up there, but what did y'all really learn about your team from this scrimmage? Maybe a thing or two each about what you took away, whether from a player, what y'all need to work on, what you're good at, anything like that. That give us some real good stuff there, right on.
I'll be honest with you. We definitely gotta do a better job of guarding the ball. We don't guard the ball the way that we're supposed to. It can break down the whole defense. But we did learn that, like I said earlier, that was one thing that we struggled with throughout the scrimmage. But when it came time to, grit down and get to it, we found out we could. And it's just a matter of us doing it consistently. And once we hit it where we're doing it, that's the focus, and we're doing that consistently with guarding the ball, then our defense just gets that much stronger because we don't have to help, and then they aren't able to kick out and get wide open threes, which has been our kryptonite the past couple of years.
You guys were talking about running. Has Sterling passed the physical test, the running, the mile run or whatever he didn't get last year that he couldn't start?
Yeah, he's in a much better position in terms of that than he was last year.
You got some.
With the
Nice way of saying that.
Is that where having a rim protector really helps? Because you maybe don't have to help off as much and you can better defend them?
Yeah, I think if you have a rim protector, then yeah, like you said, you don't really have to help as much because you can kind of funnel the defense to that rim protector and let them take care of it. But you know, like I said, that can be a negative because then that big man might be in foul trouble. So like I said, it all starts with whoever's guarding the ball. If they do their job and guard their yard, as coach would say, then like I said, the whole defense is that much stronger.
Cam, have you found your lateral movement to be much better with the help?
Yeah, it feels a lot better. And I feel like I'm still kind of adding strength to it. I feel like I have the range of motion necessary for it. But, you know, not being able to do it for such a long time, you know, I got to kind of retrain myself. I got to kind of just remind myself sometimes in practice, do it, try it. You know, sometimes I get into it a little bit, feel a little bit, but I just feel like continually pushing that, making sure I use what I have and kind of understanding that, you know, I'm in a better position now in terms of you know, physically, like what's going on. I think I'll continue to improve, and I think I've already shown some improvement.
In hindsight, how did that maybe affect your defense last year?
Just made it tougher. Just made it tougher to move. You know, depending on the stance that I was in, you know, anything that kind of required, you know, kind of feet spread, lower stance, kind of just dug more into the joint and shut some certain muscles down, and it was hard to move out of certain stances, and it's kind of what I got used to over the past 6-7 years. You know, I got very used to playing basketball that way and having that pain to kind of combat, so it's something that, you know, I feel better in now, so I'm working on doing, you know, things properly.
Any ghosts coming back into this building after Texas A&M?
There's a few lingering. I mean, it's very vivid when you step back in, like, you know, just walking along the sideline, just, you know, seeing the arena. I have like very vivid memories of just being on that court and looking at the scoreboard and just time running out. You know, you see that clock running. You know, when you're losing, it's not as much of a, man, we're down 20 as much as you see the clock. You're like, man, like the time is running out. You always feel like you can come back in some capacity, but just kind of walking back through the loading dock reminded us, you know.
Kenny, how much of a motivator is that?
It's a huge motivator. We've used it. Coaches used it on us a lot. Not a lot, but he's used it some this preseason. You know, just to kind of get us going and emphasize that the things that he says are important in terms of whether we win or lose, and they determine whether we can win or lose the game. And you know, we're all competitive, so we've used that loss as fuel all summer up to this point to motivate us and fuel us to improve and do as best we can every day.
Kenny, you know firsthand. Go ahead.
And mine's dumb. I was just going to ask if anybody on the team is actually like a ghost guy. You know, anybody that believes in ghosts or Bigfoot or any dumb stuff like that?
Jonas does, our strength coach.
Yeah.
He was showing me some Bigfoot videos the other day, and it's not that funny. It's honestly like, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So, you know, some people have this certain beliefs. But
If there were a player, who would it be?
B-Rob.
B-Rob? The conspiracy guy?
I think Jonas has convinced B-Rob of some of these things.
Tis the season.
I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Kenny, you know firsthand what a team looks like and feels like that plays on Monday night in April. You were around two of them. Does this club have the components and maybe that those couple of intangibles? Can you project down the road that you guys have that to be playing on Monday night in April?
So. I definitely think so. You know, those. My first 2 years, those teams were. I think the biggest thing that we had was our chemistry and are wanting to be around each other. I think that translates onto the court and how we play, and you can already feel that in this team. Just how much we enjoy each other, how much we like being around each other, and I think once it gets down to it, and once we gotta start to rely on each other in games, and lock in and get to go to war when we go to battle. I think we will be able to rely on that, and I think it'll help us in the long run.
How does having that chemistry off the court help a team push forward at the same time on the court?
You can just come together. You'll be able to come together on the court. You won't always be able to get the timeout that you want to come together with the coach. So you have to get the guys together on the court and make a decision that whatever's going on, you will be together. And I think, like I said, I think us enjoying each other off the court will translate to that on the court because we know we'll have each other's back.
Do y'all talk about Final Four, national championship? Is that something you actively talk about in October? I mean, how's that go? Because obviously you want to get there.
I mean, you talk about it because you want to get there. We talk about a million things. So it's like, you could ask us if we've talked about anything, and we probably talked about it. But and I think that we're more focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
We got an exhibition game coming up soon, and we got our first game coming up in 2 weeks. And that's against a team that beat us last year. And I think that's something that we're locked into. March, April, those are down the road, but what we have in front of us is an opportunity to avenge a loss from last year, and I think that's pretty big.
What in particular do Garrison and Sterling need to work on to get them where Roy wants them to be? One or two things.
Well, Sterling is coach just wants him to work harder, wants him to run a little bit harder, he wants him to defend harder, he wants him to be more engaged, be more physical, kind of protect the rim better, defend the post better. Garrison does a lot of things that coach really likes, and so what I'd say his improvement would come is just kind of gaining experience, finishing around the basket, kind of finishing off plays, defending the post. Obviously, is something that if you become really great at it, would be very helpful for our team. So Garrison does a lot of things well, and a lot of little things well. I think just as he goes, he'll continue to grow.
You mentioned chemistry just a little while ago, and a lot of times you get a group of older guys. You got 3 seniors on the team, and then a group of really talented younger guys come in. Sometimes you don't really relate to each other. How have you guys worked to get that to mesh, and how is the chemistry on this group so far?
I don't think we've butt heads with freshmen, like senior to freshman. Haven't butt heads as I've seen can happen in the past, and those guys have been very receptive to everything that we've had to say, and I think we've done a good job of trying to help them along, and they're very talented and they can contribute, and the sooner we get on the same page with them and everybody in between, the better off we'll be, and we all recognize that. I think their goal first and foremost is to win, and personal stuff aside, I think their goal is to win the national championship, and I think that also drives Kenny, Luke, and I, and to kind of come together towards a common goal and not have that butt of heads is very, very good in taking those first steps towards a good
How much, if any, did Nassau and that trip, being together like that, help bonding, that bonding process?
It helps a lot. It helps a lot. You got to spend a lot of time with people that you haven't spent as much time with, in a more relaxed environment. We're playing games, but those games were relatively easy to win, and it just being able to go to the water parks with people, and, just being in the pools and being in the plays, maybe even down in the other areas of the hotel, was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and we got to see a couple of different sides of people in a different environment.
Guys, I cover one of the hardest areas